Hey, Rick Franks here. Welcome to Chiropractic Foundations. I'm glad you're here. It's 2 days before Christmas. I'm not real sure when you're going to be hearing this, but it doesn't really matter. You can hear it at any time and you can apply it at any time in your life. So I just got back from about a 4 mile walk. I'm up here in the mountains in North Carolina. And I always come up for just to kind of get away for a day or two and uh, give myself a chance to reflect on the year that's just gone by and my wins and my learns. What did I win? What did I learn? Uh, and kind of evaluate the year and see and start also planning for the next year and start working on it. So, as a matter of fact, I'm sitting in one of my goals right now and it was a long time coming, but I got a little place up in here in Carolina that the family uses, and we just love it. They're all going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to celebrate Christmas and the week between Christmas and New Year's up here, just to be family. And so it's very important to me that our family stays together, and it's work a lot of times, but it's doing great. We're growing, a couple grandkids this past year, so it's just one of those things that to do. And so I came across this as I was looking at things to add. By the way, if you haven't done the goal setting course, please go do it. It's free. It's right there on if you're a member, it's right there on your calendar. So look it up, take the goals course, and start looking for where you want to go. You got to have a GPS. I hear this from doctors. Well, I don't need any goals. I'll just go where the wind blows me. And that's exactly where you will end up if you want. So we don't want to be doing that. I want to know where we're going. And yes, you cannot control everything that happens in your life. Things happen, but you can control a lot of things. And one of the things is you can control the direction that you're heading, the mindset that you have, and the willingness and the prosperity, or the ambitiousness to do the things that you know that you need to do to get where you want to get to. It's that simple. It's not just to sit there and how much money can I make? No, it's all the different things. And we're going to go through a couple of those things right now here. As I always look at it, I always like to try to find new things to reflect on and realize what have I improved on this year? What didn't I improve on? What do I need to improve on? So I came across this thing from a speaker. He did it on a podcast, and I thought it was just fabulous. And so I take no credit for this, but other than the fact that I'm just sharing it with you. One of the things he talked about is when you start reflecting on things, you want to kind of get into a certain state, mental state of where you are, of a relaxation, and just get into a better groove. And we do that in our goal setting process. But he had a couple interesting things here that he wanted to go over. First of all, he said, go back to your phone, get your phone out, and go back to the beginning of the year and go through all the pictures of your year and see all the things that you've done in this past year that were fun, that were good, that were rewarding. Pictures with your kids, pictures of your family, things that you did for fun, places that you went and saw, things that you did, awards that you or your kids or your grandkids might have won, all the different things in this past year. Because, we tend to focus on things that we didn't do so well. And that's okay, but we also need to celebrate the things that we did do well and the things that are there and we just kind of gloss over. So take a few minutes, and we're not going to do that right now, but take a few minutes before you go through this, exercise yourself in a little more detail than we're going to do here today, and take a look at that. The other thing is to use your calendar. All right, you've got a journal here. All right, and I know we are new here, but there is a journal here, and you could start journaling right away. How did your day go? One of the things I use my journal for is when I see a line that somebody said or somebody wrote and I liked it, I put it in my journal so I never forget it. So it's always there. Good things that happened to you, or what your day was like, or what your morning mindset was like. How many times are you meeting those daily goals that you're doing? So That's another way of doing it. So there's two things right there before you even get started in this that are going to help you get to where you want to get in this coming year. So, all right, so let's go with it. He calls this as 10 A's. All right, the 10 A's of getting grading yourself or evaluating yourself and assessing how you are. Number one, let's go with it. 10 A's. The first one, appreciation. Appreciation. By the way, we're going to score. All I want you to do is write down the word and score yourself on a 1 to 10 basis. Let's look at it. How much gratitude do you show? How grateful have you been over this past year to your family, to your friends? How many thank you notes have you sent out? How many times did you text thank you to somebody or you appreciate them for what they do? How about your staff? Are you constantly showing them gratitude? Man, you can't make it without a good staff. And if you have a good staff and if you've got a good setup in your office, if you've got a good foundation and the people are all working together, man, you got to soak that for what it's worth. How much gratitude are you showing them? Or you just keep pushing them more and more? So 1 to 10, how good were you? All right. And you got to be honest. Go with your first number here. You know, it's nobody's going to look at you and nobody's going to grade you. But how will you improve on that in the next year? Okay. Number 2 is attitude. How's your attitude this year? All right. Is it good? Is it basically good? It was halfway decent? All right. Could it be better? And I think we could all say it could all be better. We have times when we don't have the best attitude in the world, but when are those times and what can you do to prevent the bad attitudes? Okay. Did you play too small? Okay. Did you aim to maintain a positive attitude even when times were tough? And that's the hardest part, is keep the good attitude when things are going bad in your office or you're having some bad times with patients or with staff. And because your staff plays off you, and you as a leader, you got to show the attitude that, man, this is, things are good. We're going to make this thing. We're going to make it work no matter what happens. Number 2 is attitude. Number 3, ambition. How ambitious are you? Okay, what's your level of ambition? 1 through 10. Did you play too small this year? All right, or did you aim too big and things didn't go your way? Did you wake up tired? Just not feeling good about going to the office. All right, so just write down a number 1 to 10, real simple. And when you do that, you'll see what do I got to improve to be more ambitious. Maybe I need to set my purpose or my mission statement a little bit in front of me, a little bit more, and maybe give me some reasons to become more ambitious. Okay. How about number 4? Number 4 in our list of 10 A's is alignment. Okay. Consider how well you aligned your life and actions with your true calling and your values. How are you lining up here with what you really want out of life? Life is going on whether you want it to or not. And how aligned you are with your practice. Are you doing things in your practice that you know aren't right? Are you doing things in your practice that aren't aligned with your ethics, your morals, your way of living? How about at home? Okay, are you doing things that maybe aren't quite the best that you want to be? All right, so maybe you should say, when we're done here, you sit back there and say, how do I kind of get back in alignment with my wife or my husband or my kids? Maybe I got a kid that's acting out and I got to work with him. I got to spend a little more time with him or her. Okay, so alignment, you know that. Number 5 is assertiveness. Assertiveness is to reflect on, first of all, how assertive were you this past year? Okay, did you communicate clearly with your family, with your work, with your doctors that are working with you? Are you not being necessarily aggressive, but just assertive? Say, this is the way it's going to be. If I'm running this place, this is what we want to do, and this is why I need you to do it. Remember, always, know why, no comply. If they don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, chances are they're not going to comply. So we got to work on that. Number 6, achievements. All right. Review your calendar. Look, as I said earlier, and look at all your accomplishments that you did this year. How many good weeks did you have? Did your good weeks outnumber your bad weeks? Okay. And that's where, once again, you come back to your journal and you rate yourself. on a weekly basis. And all you have to do is go back there and look at it and see, oh man, I did pretty good. I had a better year than I thought I did. All right. And go back and look at your KPIs and your numbers and realize that this was a good year, maybe financially. Maybe it wasn't such a good year personally, or other things got in the way. So where do we grade it? It's purely objective. You don't want to get personal with this. Just write down the number, and then we'll talk about it when we're through here. All right. Number 7, affection. How demonstrative are you in showing your care and your love and your emotional support to the important people in your life? Your wife, your husband, your kids, your staff. We talked about this earlier. Growing up, I grew up in the North, and people aren't necessarily as affectionate as they are in the South. And I really wanted to be more affectionate as a kid and everything, but we didn't get the hugs that I never learned how to hug. And then I got into practice and I realized it's okay to hug people. It's okay to show affection. And now I hug everybody. All right. It's a natural with me. And I don't care if they don't like it or not. I'm going to give them a hug because somebody didn't hug me one time, and it was like, oh man, I wish I could have got a hug from him. So I'm always trying to be more affectionate, and it's harder for a guy than a girl. I cannot tell you. It's the way things are. Our dads weren't as affectionate as we wanted to, so we had to learn the hard way. All right, and so hopefully you're learning that way. So affection. Number 8, altruism. How generous are you? How generous are you with your time, your contribution to others, to groups, things like that? Maybe you spend this coming year, one of your goals is to become more altruistic, maybe give to more groups. We do a tremendous amount of participation with charities and things like that. We volunteer our time. We volunteer our money. We're a central place for Toys for Tots. We're in Rotary Club. We go to Second Harvest, and we're doing always things to help the community be better. Just to do it, not in the hopes that people are going to see us and go, "Wow, man, I got to go see this guy." No, just to do it. So I want you to reflect on your altruistic behavior this year. Go ahead and grade yourself on that. Number 9, acceleration. What does this mean? Have you set yourself up this year to accelerate your growth and success in the future, in the next year, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years? Have you made plans to get into position so that next year, boom, we're going to take off. We're going to make it happen this next year. Have I set up my plans with my family so that we can do things in this coming year, like take vacations, like to get out of town, to do things, to come up here to this beautiful mountain scenery that I'm looking out at right now, waiting for Santa Claus to come, waiting for a few snowflakes, maybe, things like that. What have you done this year? Grade yourself. Did I set myself up for success? Or are we floundering? Or have I just done nothing and, hey, we're just going to float through the next year like a ship without a rudder, and wherever we end up, that's okay. And if that's what you want to do, if that's the way you want to live, that's okay. Personally, I like to know where I'm going. I like to know what to expect. Okay. And number 10, last one of the A's, awakening. How much did you grow this past year in wisdom? Did you raise your consciousness level a little bit higher? Did you do a little more meditating? Did you do a little bit more of being by yourself and becoming more aware of your surroundings? Did you start to realize the importance of life and the importance that you have in your hands as a chiropractor to change other people's lives, not just punching bones, not just removing subluxation, but changing people's lives, saving people's lives, being more self-aware of that rather than just going through the motions, rather than just doing transactions, maybe creating transformations with people where they realize it. And when you leave, they go, wow, that was pretty cool. When they feel better, when they walk out of your adjusting room and they have a smile on their face. How do you grade yourself on that? All right. Or are you just going through the motions? maybe you could create some ideas where you can expand your mindset. So that's your 10 A's. Let me review them real quickly here. Appreciation. Number one is appreciation. Number two is attitude. Number three is ambition. Number four is alignment. Number five is assertiveness. Number six, achievements. Number seven, affection. Number eight, altruism. Number nine, acceleration. And number 10, awakening. Don't you think you could create a whole goal list just on those 10 with things I could do to make myself better? So that next year when I sit down and I do this and I look back at all the things in these 10 areas right here and how much better of a person I would be. Maybe you sit down with your kids and you go through these with your kids. That's what we'll be doing here in the week. I've got a couple grandkids that are a little bit older, and the parents, we're all going to sit down. I'm going to spend an hour or so with them. We're going to go over this, and we're going to go through a goal setting process, basically the same one that I have here on Foundations. So I hope this helps. I hope this makes you realize, okay, here's some ideas that I can work on for myself to make myself a better person, because that's all we're trying to do here is get better. And that's what Chiropractic Foundation does. It helps you get better in all the areas of life. And so my name is Rick Franks, and I hope you're enjoying this. If you are watching this around Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. And I hope and pray that you stick with this. Give this a chance to work. I've been doing it for 45 plus years. And every day, in every way, I get a little bit better. I got a little bit better today just putting this together for you. Isn't that cool how that works? And you could do it for others. Why not do it? Tell people about Chiropractic Foundations. I know you know chiropractors that are floundering, right? Tell them about us. Tell them about, man, I just joined this group and they're going to help me get better, and they're going to help me grow, and they're going to help me become more focused chiropractic-wise, more focused on locating and removing subluxations and changing people's lives. So there you have it. My name is Rick Franks, Chiropractic Foundations, and I love y'all, and we'll take care, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.